Hey everybody, welcome into the Out of Bounds Show Week 2. This is the prediction part of our show as we covered the recap. If you want to check that out, go to the YouTube page or Anchor and check us out there. You can listen or watch. I am your host, Todd Fox, along with the other host of the show,
Mr. Skull Zone, all the way out here from Toledo, Ohio, baby.
Toledo, Ohio, where everything is everything, apparently. In Toledo, Ohio, you got the Mud Hens. We're checking in here on week 2 after a fantastic week 1 of football. A lot of close games. We covered all that, but it's enough of that. We're going to get into week 2 here. Skull Zone's going to give us the record on how we did head-to-head because we're kind of embarrassed from week 1, right?
Yeah, but that's what happens in week 1. Week 1 through week 3. I've always said it mentally for like the last 5 years. You can never predict the first 3 weeks of the season. Todd, your record currently stands at 9 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. And my record is 7 wins, 8 losses, and 1 tie. Thank you, Houston and Colts, for that tie.
Exactly. So with that being said, on this show, what we're going to do here is I'm going to announce the games, and then I'm going to throw it over to Carlos as he gets first dibs on all these games. He's going to give you his analysis and why the team is going to win or lose. And then I'll chime in if he hasn't covered most of the points, and we'll just go from there. So simple show, simple prediction show, and then, by the way, also catch our recap show on Tuesday as we will dive into each and every game. It's a little bit of an extended episode, but we get into a lot of stuff, so it's really, really cool. So with that being said, we have a big game tomorrow, Thursday, 5:15, and be sure – if you don't have Prime Video, if you have a jailbreaking Fire Stick, do that. It's cheaper. But it's on Prime Video only. So you have no more Thursday night football on what is the NFL Network. It is a really good one, too. Early season, Chargers at Chiefs. Take it away, Skull Zone.
Before we get into these predictions, if you want to get away from Fire Stick, I've got a website that you can actually stream the games on for free, and it works every single time. I've been watching all my Minnesota Viking games, Red Zone as well for the last 2 to 3 years. I have not missed one NFL game in the last 2 to 3 years. So if you want to get that website off of us, please follow us and subscribe to us, and we'll get to that once we hit our 100 followers. We got to hit 100 followers on either Twitch and YouTube combined or one and all together. But for the first game, the Chargers at the Chiefs, this game's kind of interesting to me. The media's going to blow it up like they always do because it's two high-flying offenses based on what happened week 1. But if you get into it, the games are always won at the trenches. The battle of the trenches is what I'm looking at. And I think that the Chargers are the better team because of their defense. They got Khalil Mack and they got Bosa off the edge, and then everybody in between Bosa and Khalil Mack. They're going to feast on that Kansas City offensive line. I'm still not sold on Kansas City just yet. Maybe it was just the Cardinals that were that bad. When you got guys like Juju Smith-Schuster light the scoreboard. I believe Travis Kelce's still that guy, that tight end, but I think that the Chargers, they got everybody on defense. They got a solid defensive backs. They got just an overall good team. And Kansas City, there's a lot of question marks. So I'm going to go with the Chargers to win that one right there.
Okay, I like that take because look, I don't put too much stock into what they did against the Cardinals. We went over this in the recap. Cardinals defense has been decimated. They lost some stars. The Chiefs, they don't have the weapons that they've had, but if you look at the last 2 meetings the Chargers have done in either Kansas City or LA, they've, with the exception of one of the games where Kansas City put up a lot of points and got the W, the Chargers have really know how to play Mahomes, and they've done a good job neutralizing him. They've had good ball control. Justin Herbert's made some really good plays. I do agree with you in this one. I'm taking the Chargers on the road. I really think this is the game where they can say, you know what, we're 2-0. Yes, it's early in the season, but we're going to show you we're going to be in for that division all year. And I think this is the first step to winning that division.
You know what that means, right? If they win this game against the Chiefs,
What's that?
that they would be 2-0 against that division that everybody's raving about. They would just need what's the other team? Denver. They would just need to beat Denver one more time, and they could at least go 3-3 in the division. But I feel like they're gonna go like 4-2 or 5-1 in the division. But 2-0 to start the season overall, and it's inside the division in the conference overall. Like it's just a beautiful way to start the season.
I,
Early or not, that's a great way to start the season.
absolutely. I mean, this is a big statement game. Obviously, Kansas City's been there, done that. It's time for the Chargers to get their spot.
And one more thing about that. Kansas City may have had that very impressive win against against the Cardinals, but
Hmm.
you also have to look at it like this: the Cardinals playing the NFC. That win basically means nothing when you're looking at the like week 16, week 17, or whatever it is, the last few weeks of the season when you're trying to determine which AFC team has to make the playoffs. I mean, yeah, it's good to have that win, but that's basically like a half win right there. You gotta bring it again in your division and against your own conference. The outside conference games, it kind of means something, but not as much as the interconference.
I agree. I agree. So with that being said, the next game is the New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. First game on Sunday, and this is a battle of backup quarterbacks. You're going to have either Joe Flacco or Martin going head to head with a Jacoby Brissett. Thoughts?
Ah man, this one's kind of like this one. I want to give the New York Jets benefit of a doubt that they can pull this one off, but I still have I'm not convinced with the Jets yet. Robert Saleh lashing out against the media, dude. That was terrible. Like, how do you like you're letting your emotions show? Like that's something that when you're in a relationship, you go to social media and you post about, oh, my girlfriend said this or my boyfriend said this. Like, dude, you're showing your weakness. You're like soft skin. You're showing everybody in the NFL that it doesn't take much to get to you. It's been one bad season and you're already coming out lashing about. I got receipts on everybody for that's been dog. You dude, you're in the NFL and you're in like the biggest market in the entire United States. Like, of course you're gonna get whiplash. That's the New York Giants. How that feels too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns because they're a lot more mellow. They remind me this game right here reminds me of what a child is like versus going up against a grown man. The Cleveland Browns, they're just handling their business, and the New York Jets, they're already showing signs of emotions and their soft skin. Whereas opposed to the Cleveland Browns, they don't even have their starting quarterback, Sean Watson, and they went on the road against a surprisingly good Carolina Panthers team that a lot of people picked to beat the Cleveland Browns, and they got the running game. They got a better team. I'm going with Cleveland on this one.
I have to agree with you on this one too. I think right off the bat, if MILF Killer's in there, this is a different ball game, obviously,
I, I
and
don't think so.
I think so. I really think the Jets offense could move with him in there.
Robert Sala, he's now I'm anti Robert Sala guy because he's coming out just like Kyler Murray came out against the media. Like when you show signs of weakness like that, it just goes to show you that you're not ready for the big stage.
Well, I mean, look, Robert Sala is a head case in a way because, I mean, he came out of Frisco. Everyone anointed him the best thing ever. He was getting the McVay treatment. I'm with you on that. But I think when you saw the MILF Killer in there last year, at times the Jets' offense moves a hell of a lot better than what it does without him. And I think that's the only thing they're missing. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with Baltimore last week. I thought they played pretty decent, better than I thought, but they just couldn't move the football. And so I think in this one, they'll be a little better. But with Cleveland getting that win in Carolina, and they realized, hey, we can go 2-0 with Jacoby Brissett, waiting for Watson, like you said in your prediction show last week. I think it's a big win for them to get this one at home in Cleveland, and I think they're going to do it. I think Robert Saleh he's feeling the heat, man. Like he feels hamstrung that he's without his quarterback the first 4 games at least. And
Deal with it, man. Forget that dude, Robert Sala. The Browns are going without their starting quarterback. Like like it's not even 2 weeks old, and I'm already tired of Robert Sala. But I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. It irritates me and it agitates me that Robert Sala is this big, strong-looking guy, and he has such soft skin. Like, man.
well, I mean, I'm telling you, I look at it this way too. I would think a guy like McVay would be in the same kind of spot. I think he's going to be a guy that if the Rams were to have a crappy team, he would be feeling the pressure too. I think Saleh fed off of what the Niners did, and so when he doesn't have all that success, and in the New York media that will not take any crap, and they are looking to get under your skin, like you said, they've already triggered this guy, so he's got to temper his emotions a little bit, and and not be like a what's his name, the coach that loves a feat, Rex Ryan. He's because Rex Ryan was good and bad with the media, and I think he's got to find the good that Rex Ryan used to do, just joke around but be mean behind the scenes. If he could do that, I think he'll be fine. But if he lets this shit get to you and the media sees it like we have now, he's gonna
I
have
think
problems.
the trolling is going to be crazy in New York. But you also have to look at it like this: New York going into New York, dude, they're star. They don't have a winning team like in. I don't know maybe the Yankees. I really don't follow baseball, but New York has been dry without a championship since who knows when. The Knicks suck, the Giants suck, the Jets suck. The Yankees from time to time will make noise, but they haven't won a title. And I don't know. I really don't follow baseball. I want to say within the last 10 years, I don't know if they won one. They might have, but
No, not in
New York.
not in the last 10 years. Basically, right now, the Mets and the Yankees are tops in their division. They're both going to be number one seeds in the postseason. So it's a baseball city right now, especially after New Jersey was supposed to be so good in basketball and they flopped. So
Oh yeah, and then the Brooklyn Nets, New Jersey
yeah, there
Nets.
you go, Brooklyn. Yeah. So
Yeah, how could you say yeah? So New York. I mean, the media, they're dying for something.
they sure are. They sure are. So
You're going with Cleveland.
yeah, we're both going to roll with Cleveland, but I think it's going to be closer than we think. That I'll just say that. So that'll take us to our next 10 o'clock game, or early game, whatever coast you're on. It is the Washington Woke going into Detroit. Washington is 1-0 and Detroit 0-1.
All right, with this one, I want to give look. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. I love the Minnesota Vikings, and that's my team till I die. I'm never gonna leave Minnesota because that's the team that introduced me to all of sports even before I started watching basketball. Back when I was still into basketball, but um, I really, really like Detroit, man. I don't know what it is about Detroit. I just feel bad for them because they've always been in the gutter. They were I want to say the first winless team. They were the first 0-16 team way back when, and then they're just a complete total mess year in and year out. And the people that live around here in Toledo, Ohio, we're like within an hour away from Detroit. So there are some Lion fans out here. They're just not vocal because they don't really have a reason to be vocal about anything. But talking to them, dude, they're so humbled. They've got to be humbled. But dude, it's just like just sitting there, just looking at them, and then there's Brown fans, and then he's just sitting there and just shake. I mean, I shake my head. I'm like, I don't know how they do it, but kudos to them. They're loyal and all this and that. But I want to pick Detroit, but I can't go against Washington's front four, front seven. I think that Jared Goff, it'll be a close game. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's going to be a blowout and all this and that. Washington's got a better defense. Now, this is almost like a fifth. This is like a 40-60 Washington winner right here. Like out of 100%, I'm going 60% Washington to Detroit's 40 right there. I just think that Curtis Samuel actually looked pretty good last year. He didn't really show up. He was their big free agent acquisition last year. I picked him up on fantasy football last year, and he was an absolute no-show. He was injured. Plus, they got Terry McLaurin. And then the running back, Antonio Gibson, the media was counting him out. They were dogging on him. They were saying that he was having a bad preseason, and then they just threw him on the dirt, threw him in dirt, and dragged him around. And he actually he looked pretty good. He looked like he did last year. So I'm gonna go with Washington on this one.
I'm going to go with the Woke to lose. I think, I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz. Have never been a fan of that guy. He's a turnover machine. I don't like the Woke either way, but that's not going to play into this one because I believe that the Lions really played tough against Detroit. Not in the first half, but in the second half they looked pretty good. And I think Jackoff, they ran the ball a lot because it worked against Philly. I don't think that's going to work as much against the Woke's defense, but I do like Goff to get out there and throw the ball around a little bit better. I think Detroit will put up some points. It's not like you could say, oh, I can't believe the Lions will go 0-2. I mean, they could go 0-16 like you said, so it's not out of the possibility. But I do think they are a little bit better, and this is a winnable game. It's not like the Woke is this really good team like the Patriots or like used to be, or they're not a juggernaut coming in there. Is basically what I'm saying. But it's a great chance for the Woke to go 2-0. But I'm going for Detroit to get their first W in this one.
All right, before we move on to the next game, because I know that's what's about to happen. I want to throw something up there about this game that I just thought about. Very interesting historical fact about this game. You remember we both talked about how Detroit went 0-16 for the very first NFL team that went 0-16. Do you remember do you know or do you remember what team they beat for their first win after they went 0-16 like the following year? Like they were almost 0 and they were almost 0-8 the following year. Do you know which team they beat at home?
The woke?
Whoa. That's
Oh,
when they had Santana Moss, and that's when I can't remember the quarterback. I want to say Jason Campbell was their quarterback, but Washington gave them their first win. And this game is in Detroit again, lo and behold. And Detroit is winless. I
well,
know it's only been 1 week, but, is history going to repeat itself?
yeah, because I think they had lost 3 games before the 0-16 season, and then they lost 8, so they were like on a 27-game losing streak.
And here comes Washington back when they were the Redskins.
Yeah, back when they were a cool team.
Yeah, I remember that. That's crazy how that just came. Like this game just popped up in my head. Like 0-16 we just talked about, it just popped up.
That's a good pull. All right, so now we're gonna move to Sunday. Still on Sunday, it's gonna be Tom Brady and that butt chin of his going into New Orleans to take on Jameis Winston and the crab stealing Saints.
Dude, I'm riding high on the team that I hate this year. Because of the 2009 season, I will always hate the New Orleans Saints because of what they did to us. That gay bounty deed, cheat, whatever you want to call it. I just don't like it. Every like until that franchise moves away, I won't ever stop hating the New Orleans Saints. But I'm riding with New Orleans this year. Like I don't know, as crazy as that sounds. I want to go with New Orleans beating Tampa Bay this week because they have owned Tampa Bay in the regular season and Chris Godwin. Like outside of Mike Evans will get taken care of with Marshawn Lattimore
Yeah,
covering him, and Saints just they got Taysom Hill. They could always swap quarterbacks. They got Alvin Kamara. It's just how much and Michael Thomas. How could you forget? How did we not give a shout out to Michael Thomas in yesterday's show? Like Michael Thomas came to play. Well, you did. You covered his stats and then his 2 touchdowns. You did. But Michael Thomas, he's a bad man. Like him and Jarvis Landry and then Chris Olave. Gonna be a nice little trio.
yeah, they came out firing last week in the second half against Atlanta, like everybody does. But I think it took a little bit for their offense to get going. But like you said, the Saints have played the Bucks really good the last couple of years. They know them inside and out. Tom Brady really doesn't scare them at Tampa or at home. So with this one being at home in the Superdome, it's going to be really loud. I don't think the Saints are going to wait to the second half to get going. I like Jameis Winston in the Dome to make some plays and that defense to kind of stifle butt chin. And I'm with you there. I like the Saints to eke out a victory against the Bucks. It's going to be a good game though.
So we're both gonna go with eat your W's
Yes, sir.
instead of no butt chin this week. We're gonna go with eat your W's.
Yeah, he's gonna eat a lot of W's, man. He's gonna be sucking on them fingers, man. All
Oh man.
right, so that's another one, and then the next couple games are sneaky good because we know the Tampa Bay New Orleans one's gonna be good. But if you circled this one on your calendar, kudos to you. But this week 2 matchup is gonna be a really highly anticipated game because you got the Carolina Panthers who shoulda, coulda, woulda against the Cleveland Browns, and they lost in the final seconds. Baker Mayfield was just like Jameis Winston. He got that offense going late, and it looked really good. Same thing with the Giants. Giants defense showed up early, but their offense got going late, and Saquon Barkley had a day for himself. So it's going to be interesting to see Giants hosting the Panthers. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh man, there's only one. There's a few things that are rolling through my mind right now. The first one, the biggest one, obviously, is can Saquon Barkley stay healthy? If Saquon Barkley stays healthy, then I'm gonna go with the New York Giants. But if he can't stay healthy, then I'm gonna pick the Giants in this one. So basically, that's gonna answer that question. And the 2 reasons I'm picking, the 3 reasons actually I'm picking the Giants over Carolina is because one for Carolina, their head coach. I want to say Matt Rule. Is he still the head coach?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm picking against Carolina. I don't like the guy. I don't trust him. The guy is he gives me Cliff Kingsbury vibes. The team is stacked. The team is really good in Carolina. They're fast on defense, fast on offense. But that dude Matt Rule is dude. He's just not. He's not my cup of tea. He doesn't fit my cup of tea as a head coach. But with New York Giants, they got a better coach. He brought Josh Allen out of his shell when he was in Buffalo, and he got the job in New York. And look what he did against the Tennessee Titans. And then a lot of that, like Sterling Shepard, he came out and he played. Kadarius Toney can still take off. The Giants, if they wake up, and they play anything half of what the Buffalo Bills played, because they don't have Josh Allen or they don't have Stephon Diggs or anybody like that. If the Giants can play halfway decent to how the Buffalo Bills play, then the Giants are going to be good. But it's too early to tell. But the number one thing is Saquon Barkley has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, then the Giants are going to. I hate to say it, but the Giants could run away with that division.
Especially what happened in Dallas. And we'll get more into that as we move forward.
Oh yeah.
But I am going to go the other way on this one. I think McCaffrey really did not get going in week 1. I can't imagine him being under 50 yards. But the key is for the Giants, can Saquon Barkley extend drives? Can Daniel Jones do it 2 weeks in a row? I've yet to see it for his career. I think Giants fans are a little frustrated with him. This is probably his last year to probably prove himself. Can he do it? Yes, but I'm going on tradition on this one, and I'm going on what they've done in the past. Where the resume. I would love to pick the Giants to get to that 2-0 spot, but I have a feeling that Baker's going to have a victory here for the Panthers, and it's going to be a close game. I would say something like 21-17. But I got the Panthers edging them out, but I could easily see the Giants going. So for me, this is a toss-up, dude. I mean, this is a really good matchup.
I just thought about it because I forgot all about Christian McCaffrey because he's so injury prone, and so is Saquon Barkley. This is the battle of handicap running back.
Well, you know where they're going to be parking, right? They got their handicap placards.
Dude, they're not even gonna let them drive their own cars because they might injure their big toe by trying to drive. They might injure their hands by hitting the turn signal switch. They're gonna fly them in by helicopter and land them right at the 50, and then put them on stretcher so that way they can wheel them right into the locker room. They cannot take chances on these guys getting hurt. That's the franchise right there, McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. It's crazy. We got the battle of handicaps right here. This is the game of the week right here because it's the battle of handicaps. Who's going to get injured first, McCaffrey or Barkley, in this game? I'm not waiting until another game. In this game, who's going to get injured?
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, they come in with some bubble wrap, dude.
They're going to need bubble wrap. I don't know what they're going to need, man. They're going to need fragile stickers on their jerseys and everything, man.
All right, so moving away from that one as we split that one. This is another good game that on paper it's been good for over a decade, and whenever they play, it's always low scoring, defensive struggles, something crazy happens. The cast of characters are not the same anymore. Big Ben's not there, Tom Brady's not there, but it's still Tomlin versus Belichick. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who come off of stealing one from the Bengals, literally, and the New England Patriots, who didn't show up in that hot Miami Heat. The Patriots come in 0-1. Pittsburgh has a chance to go 2-0. Who you got?
It's it's a close game. This is a really, really close game. But judging based on the way the teams looked last week, we all know that New England can't go into Miami. Miami is just a kryptonite to New England. I don't know how that works out. It's just the way it is. You just gotta accept it. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pittsburgh, dude, everything man, I don't know. Pittsburgh needed all the luck in the world. They needed like 5 to 6 turnovers, 5 interceptions from Joe Burrow. They needed missed field goal kicks. They needed missed extra points. They needed everything to work in their favor, and it still took them all 4 quarters and the whole entire overtime for them to come away with the win against Cincinnati. Plus, they lost the Watt. They lost T.J. Watt to that injury. They're getting second and third opinions. They're scared to lose him because he's their pass rush, and without him, what's that Pittsburgh pass rush going to look like? Could it still be good? Yeah. Minka Fitzpatrick's been benefiting from it, so I mean, we're going to see what they're like without Watt, TJ Watt. The reason I'm calling him Watt is because I don't want to call him JJ Watt or TJ. I don't want to mix them up, so I'm just going to call him Watt, Mr. Watt. The injury boys, the injury guys, another set of handicap players right there, guys that can't stay on the field for more than 3 games. But yeah, I'm going to go with New England because Bill Belichick, and plus you got to look at the quarterbacks too. Mac and cheese versus what's the Mitchell Turd Biscuit?
Turd Biscuit.
Turd Biscuit. I'm going to go with New England to win this one. Somehow, some way. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to have 5 turnovers because Bill Belichick, he's not going to be that generous.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Putting up 7 points in week 1, although, like you said, it was in Miami. I think Belichick's got to get that offense ramped up. And then also you look at the Steelers stealing one in every single category and way. I think they're going to keep it close, but I'm predicting like a 16-13, 13-10. Very low scoring grudge match between these two. These guys, like I said, know each other really well. But I can't see the Pats going 0-2, dude. I just can't. And Trubisky being 2-0, I can't see that either. So
You never know, but what happens if New England loses this one? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm picking New England to win this game.
mhm.
But what if the New England Patriots start off 0-2 before they had Tom Brady to rely on Bill Belichick? What happens now if New England goes 0-2?
Then there's a really good chance they don't make the postseason because teams, it's weird. In the NFL, the chances of you making the postseason go down to about 30% if you go 0-2. That's just the first 2 weeks of the season. So we're not talking about like week 4, week 5. You know, like that's been the record since like all the way back, man. You drop those first 2 games. That's why they say it's important to get off to a good start. You know, it's very difficult to see teams lose the first 4 out of 5 and make the postseason.
Yeah, and what they even if it's only week 2, you look, even if it's only week 2, neither one of these teams could afford to take a loss. So I'm going with the more desperate team now that I think about it. I am going with the Patriots. But Pittsburgh, if they lose, Cleveland, there's a high chance that Cleveland is going to win their game. There's a high chance that Cincinnati could come back, bounce back. There's a chance that Pittsburgh could be at the bottom of the division, or maybe in third place because of their win with Cincinnati. But with the AFC, like how stacked the AFC is, minus the AFC South, it's just I don't know. New England cannot afford to lose this game at all. Bill Belichick's been doing this far too long, and he knows what's on the line. But Mike Tomlin is also a good coach.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna both have tricks up their sleeve. Watch. There's gonna be some trick plays in here. Fake punts, maybe a fake field goal, reverse something.
Is it going to be playoff atmosphere? You think?
I think
This early
so.
in the season?
I think so because Steeler fans, I always show up, so it's gonna be a loud game for sure. So with that being said, we used to do a thing, me and Carlos or Skull Zone. Sorry, I did it again. One of these times I'm not gonna screw up. But we used to do a thing where we used to say, hey, it's the who gives a fuck game of the week. And you know, and if you're in this market,
Save this one for last. Save this one for last. Just I make the announcement and then just be like, "This is the main event." Just like how last week I saved the main event for last. Let's do this one too.
okay, we'll save this one because all I gotta say is if you're in these markets and you're forced to watch this, I'm sorry, but you need to really not watch regular television and skip to any other game but this one. So we'll save that one for last due to Carlos. He wants to save that one for last. So
That's the main eventer. That's the main eventer right there.
there you go. So the next game we'll move on to is the last Sunday game, Sunday morning game, which is a really good one. Both teams are 1-0. It's the Miami Dolphins going into the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, you're ready for my pick, huh?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think we're all ready for my pick. I want to go with Baltimore in this one. Dude, Miami's got cornerbacks. They've got defense. They've got everything. Even Tua Tagovailoa looked pretty good. He kind of convinced me last week that, dude, Jalen Waddle reminded me that last year he had chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa last year, and people were dogging Tua Tagovailoa. Now you get Tyreek Hill, so I'm I'm kind of biting on the Miami Dolphins pie right now. I'm biting for this game right here. Not long term, but for this game right here, I like Miami because I like their weapons a lot better than Baltimore. Baltimore, outside of Lamar Jackson, I don't see a threat on Baltimore's offense. But it would not shock me if Baltimore won this. It kind of would, but it kind of wouldn't because last year Baltimore was in first place with just Lamar Jackson by himself. Until he got injured and all the defenders started going out with injuries. That's when they started losing games and going for 2 on game-winning drives and all that. That's how they ended up missing the playoffs. But right now, I'm gonna go with Miami only because you can go deep with Miami, and that can also set up the running game and screens and going to tight ends like Mike Gesicki and all that. So yeah, I like Miami in this game.
Okay, I think I'm going to agree with you on this one only for the fact that usually I would go with Lamar, but I predicted them to have a downfall season. And at some point, they're going to start losing. I'm with you. I could see them win this game, but Miami's offense is a little bit better. I think their defense is very underrated. I don't think they're going to let Lamar try to do his runs and everything like he does. I think he's going to take some hits. This is going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to come down to a couple turnovers by Lamar. And I do like the Dolphins winning and going 2-0.
All right, so we agree on that one too.
Yep. So that will move us on to the next game. It is everyone's favorite punchline. The Chokers from Atlanta go into the fan base that doesn't have a fan base, the Los Angeles Rams. There could be a chance that there may be more than 50% Rams fans. There's a chance. Although the Falcons fans they don't travel, but there could be a chance there'd be more Rams fans here. I want your opinion on that, and who's going to win also.
Oh man, this is gonna be shade at both teams. Do you think normally the visiting team has a whole bunch of fans, but you just covered that there might be a lot more Rams fans in attendance. I want to know if it's actually gonna be sold out. It's week 2, right? It's week 2, so it should be a sold out game, right?
Yep.
And if it is sold out, how much are tickets gonna go for? I mean, it is LA, so I'm expecting those ticket prices to be expensive, but I just don't see. I don't know how many Atlanta Falcons. It might be a lot of Atlanta Falcon fans because I don't know if you remember him from the '90s. Randy, I don't know if you remember him. He was a Falcons fan. So there are Falcon fans out there in California, and people are gonna be traveling just because it's LA and they want to get away from Georgia and all that. But with this one, dude, Atlanta, we're used to seeing them going through a struggle, and Marcus Mariota, I don't know, he's become a journeyman quarterback. This is going into LA, and the Rams, can they afford to go 0-2? I don't think they can afford to go 0-2. I don't know who they play next week, but starting off 0-2 after winning the Super Bowl, dude, that would be terrible for their franchise. I almost said fans, but for their franchise, that would be terrible. Sean McVay, he has to find a way to get this team together because they cannot start off 0-2. If they start off 0-2 in that LA market, the media is going to be eaten up because of all the first round picks that they've given away, and they're going to be like, well, you paid all this money to Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and all the list goes on. Allen Robinson, he has to show up as well. So yeah, I like the Rams winning this one, mainly because Atlanta, we're just used to seeing them struggle. I don't see them. I don't see them pulling the upset on this one. I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just looking while you were talking. I was looking at the ticket prices right now, and you have your tickets that are going around the 50-yard line for like $300-$400, 600 in some cases. There's a lot of tickets left for this game, and also you have the end zone tickets going for about $100, and then the upper deck. The entire upper deck you can get in for $40 or less.
That's not. You might want to go to that one right there, kids. Like I don't know. You might want to go to that one.
Hell no, I don't want to see the Rams and Falcons. But
Yeah.
the
You know, when the Falcons score a touchdown, you don't want to sit there and yell at everybody like, "Whose house is it?"
yeah, we'll see. That would be funny if it. But then, knowing my luck, the Falcons would be up like 24-3 with like 3 minutes left and lose. And they'll be like, "Whose house?"
Sorry about that, Falcon fan.
yeah. But I like how you said that, Falcon fan. Uh, no, I got the Rams in this one. As much as I hate, my bias aside, I think McVay is a genius, as the media likes to say it. And they're going to be up his butt, showing him about 60 times during the game. You won't even know who the Falcons coach is. And then they won't give the Falcons any kind of credit. They're just going to be showing all the players the Rams have. And then they're going to try to focus on the 10 fans that are there. But I think the Rams are going to get their offense together. They should blow out the Falcons. I don't think this one's close.
I don't think they're going to blow them out. I think that Atlanta. Look what they did. They did New Orleans. I mean, it's division inside the division and all that. But Atlanta, I don't know, man. If they pull this one off, that's going to give them a ton of momentum going into the Super Bowl champion's house. And going from coast to coast, if they can pull this one away, and as close as they got to New Orleans, they're gonna try and make the playoffs, but that's yet to be seen.
All right. Well, Carlos is calling for a close loss. I'm calling for a blowout. So we'll see who's right.
Yeah. With the way the Rams looked last week, I mean, I can't say that they're gonna blow out the Falcons. They got to figure themselves out. They got to get Allen Robinson involved.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so another 1:00 game is my Seattle Seahawks going up to Santa Clara and playing the Trey Lance 49ers. Who you got in this one?
You want me to go first on this one on the Seahawks game?
I go for it.
All right, in this one, it's in Santa Clara. Have you made up your mind if you're gonna go to this game?
Yeah, I'm going.
Right, all right. You gotta take pictures and do like little videos and post them on the send them to me on email, and then I'll post them on the YouTube.
Okay.
Like what you got to do though, what you have to do is like when you're entering, like when you're getting your tickets scanned and all that, like you have to record from that point on, so that way because people like me or people like in Florida or like anywhere outside of that area that'll never get to see what the inside of that stadium looks like. Like what I'm gonna do when I go to the Detroit game against the Vikings up there in Ford Field is I'm gonna record when I'm getting my ticket, like walking in, so that way people that I'll never get to see Ford Field on the inside what it looks like.
All right, sounds good.
That way we can give our fans something to look at. Um, but with this one, I'm gonna dude. I'm gonna go with this is a close game. I almost wish that it was like another primetime game and it was one of our last games to go over because, dude, I really, really like what I've seen. They had a Geno Smith and how Seattle balled out against Denver. But a lot of that I'm leaning towards was just a lot of build up. It was the first game of the season. It was prime time. Pete Carroll, everybody was just pumped up. The fans were booing the hell out of Russell Wilson. There was a ton of energy. That felt like a playoff game to me. To me, it looked like a playoff game. I'm not sure how you felt. Geno Smith played his butt off. And but I just don't see that they can repeat that same type of energy back to back weeks. It'll be a lot slower paced. I don't see that. I don't see Shanahan pulling. I don't see him pulling that 2 minute drill that Denver did. Nathaniel Hackett. I don't see it. I think Shanahan's a much better coach. He's got a much better grip on his team. He knows what he has in his team. And if Trey Lance doesn't work out in this game and he starts goofing off, then they're just going to put Jimmy Garoppolo in because the 49ers, they 0-2. I think that you go with the more desperate team in this game. Seattle, if they come out with the same energy and they play and they ball out like they did in week one, dude, look out for Seattle. But I have to see it to believe it. I won't be surprised if Seattle goes in there and wins, but I'm going to go with the 49ers only because they're more established and they got, to me, right now, it looks like a better roster, but I would not be surprised if Seattle wins this one. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
All right. Matthew McWilliams says, what's up? We covered the Dolphins earlier, by the way. We're both picking them to win. So what's up, Matt?
What up, Maddie? Hey, I also said I took a bite out of the Miami Dolphins pie for just this week. I'm slightly buying into their bandwagon.
There you go. There you go. In this game with my Hawks, I'll make it easy. Geno Smith, again, I agree with everything he said. They played off the crowd. That game got a 19.5, the highest rating of a Monday Night Football game in over 7 years. So that was pretty good. So a lot of people
How much of that was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman's fault?
Not too much. I think it was the actual buildup for the game. It was pretty good. But I will say this though. Seattle's playing with house money. They weren't supposed to win last week, and now you're going into a team where they took a tough loss on the road. They played good defensively in the rain. They're going to play good here. If two things need to happen in this game for Seattle to win, they got to play that first half offense that they did against Denver and not fuck around like they did in the second half and do nothing, go backwards. If they do that and keep the pressure on the Niners, they're going to win. And I think Trey Lance is Trey Lance. He's never impressed me. I thought that was a stupid pick from day one. The fact that they're pushing him over a guy who has a win percentage of 75% is just shows you how dumb that organization is and John Lynch is. I think that they're a gimmick-plagued offense and nothing else. They should have stuck with a traditional West Coast offense with Jimmy G. He's a way better quarterback. He's not a quarterback that's going to be super flashy, but he wins games, and you have a defense that can get you to a Super Bowl. They were a couple plays from getting to the Super Bowl last year. So I don't understand the logic with them being this stupid, and I think they deserve to lose this game. So I'm going with my biased homer pick. I'm taking Seattle in a close one.
You're going with the Seahawks, huh?
I sure am.
Dude, last week, like, I don't know, I can't question that because last week you were spot on. You were like, you said it, everything came true. What you said about the Seahawks versus the Broncos, I can't, I'm gonna just stand back on that one. I'm just going based on because the 49ers to right now, it still looks like they have a better team. Pete Carroll, also, me and you have agreed that Pete Carroll looks like he's lost his ways. He's old fashioned. He's holding Seattle back. And the energy, dude, you got to think about the energy. That was a lot of energy that Seattle put out. That was like a playoff game. And normally when you put out a lot of energy one week, the very next week you come out and look a lot different. So that's why I'm going with for the 49ers. But
that's cool. I mean, like, only thing I'm saying is, like, Seattle plays the Niners tough, man. I think they've beaten them like 9 out of the last 11 or something like that. So I know that they know how to play them. So we'll see what happens.
Hero does know how to play the 49ers. I do agree with that too.
Yeah. So the next one is the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, coming off a 5 turnover performance, goes into Big D with no Big D, no Dak Prescott for this. We have Rush in at quarterback. Two teams that desperately need a win that were predicting double digits for the year. Who gets the win and why?
Man, do you want me to go in a detour, or do you want me to give you just the honest truth? Like
Uh,
I can sit here and just talk the game up, but honestly, man, I'll give you a breakdown because I got to give both these fan bases something to listen to. But honestly, like Cincinnati, they should have won last week. They should have won last week. Dallas, they even with Dak Prescott, they look terrible.
mhm.
Matt, hey, if you're listening, dude, I apologize. I apologize, man. I'm trying to not hate on the Cowboys because you always showed my Vikings love when you did your show with Todd. But it's just, dude, even with Dak Prescott, they look flat. They couldn't do nothing. They scored a field goal at home to open up the season on primetime. Like, I don't know what else I can say. The Cincinnati Bengals they were so close on winning. They're gonna be angry. If they're gonna get their long snapper back, they're gonna be okay without missing all those kicks and all that. And Cincinnati's just they're angry. They're gonna come out. They're gonna come out and they're gonna try and redeem themselves for losing to Pittsburgh. Jamar Chase is a bad man. I would not be surprised if Jamar Chase versus Trayvon Diggs is gonna be a matchup that everybody wants to see in this game. But I'm still gonna go with Cincinnati.
I go with the Bengals too. I think this one's actually close. I think Rush will throw like a touchdown or two, or maybe the Ewok will break one, and the game will be kind of sloppy close, maybe like a 17-17 game at half. But I think Burrow and that offense takes advantage of a team that can't move the ball in the second half. So short and sweet, I got the Bengals to get their first W against Dallas, and Jerry Jones to have a sourpuss face by the fourth quarter.
I agree with you on that one. It's going to be interesting to see Jerry Jones. I'm going to love seeing Jerry Jones all angry in his VIP box.
Yep. And then the next game is another 1:00 start. It's the Houston Texans. They're still winless and they're still undefeated as well because they're 0-1. They go into Denver, who got the shocking loss to my Seahawks. I doubt in Russell Wilson's homecoming that something bad's going to happen. But what are your thoughts on this game?
Whew. I so want to pick the Houston Texans in this one. I really, really want to pick the Houston Texans. But given how the media has trashed on the Denver Broncos, I think that the locker room is going to react. They're going to come out and they're going to give out a lot of energy and they're going to make this a statement game. It's going to be against the Houston Texans. The Texans are just, I'm giving them a slight chance to win this game, but I'm going to roll with Denver in this one because I feel like Denver's going to come out and they're going to make this a statement game. They have to make it a statement game. You don't give up all their picks for Russell Wilson and then pay him $245 million and then have the media trash you for the decision at the end of the game and all this and that. So the team's probably they cannot wait to get on the field and play against the Houston Texans, and it's going to be like a bounce back game for them. So I'm going with Denver.
I agree. I'm going to go with Denver. If you have fantasy players like Russell Wilson, Gordon, other players, Williams, post them on this game, play them, because I think they're going to air it out. The coach realizes he made a dumb mistake. He said so in the press conference afterwards. They're going to open it up for Russell Wilson. Look for the Broncos to score early and often in this one. This is a second blowout for me in the week. I think I got the Rams blowing out the Falcons, and I got the Broncos blowing out the Texans.
Ooh, blowout, huh? I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, but it might be. Just
Yep.
because it's gonna be a statement game for Denver. They had to win this one. They had to.
So the next game has features the tallest quarterback in the league going into an emo guy from an emo reject from Twilight. So you got the Cardinals and Kyler Murray versus Derek Carr and the Raiders, both 0-1.
All right, this one is gonna be kind of short and simple as well. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna just go with my pick. I'm gonna go with the Raiders over the Cardinals because the Cardinals, dude, you gave up 5 touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill, and all these journeymen just lit you up. That defense is absolute suspect. They don't have Chandler Jones. As a matter of fact, Chandler Jones went from Arizona to the Raiders, so Chandler Jones can't wait to play against his former team and sack Kyler Murray a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyler Murray, a quick little shout out on the Arizona Cardinals.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, that was no pun intended. That one just came out just because the clause that was in Kyler Murray, and then the way Kyler Murray responded, soft skinned. He said, "This shouldn't happen to me. I'm a football player." Yada yada yada. Yeah, the team also said that you don't study. You're a short Jamarcus Russell. You're Jamarcus Russell 2.0. The only difference is you're a little faster than him. But those explosive plays from last year are just not there for you this year no more. You don't have DeAndre Hopkins. So we're going to see what you're all about. You just got that nice big contract. So I'm going with the Raiders on this one. I don't respect the Cardinals. I don't respect the Cardinals. I thought last year was an absolute fluke. I knew they were going to get
Yep.
stomped in the playoffs because of the way when Minnesota played them last year, week 2. I seen Kyler Murray make some of these ridiculous throws that should not have been completed off the
Hmm.
back. He would like throw it off the back of his foot, going backwards to the ground, and he would complete like these 40, 50-yard bombs. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, they've got it. That's what you call a gimmick offense right there. The 49ers are somewhat gimmick, but the Cardinals are an absolute gimmick right there. So I'm
What?
going with the Raiders.
We'll see. The thing is, this is a big game for both teams. Neither team can afford to go 0-2 with all the superstars you brought up. The thing is, I'm going to agree with you on all your points. The Raiders need this one more than the Cardinals did. I think the Raiders knew that they were right there with the Chargers, and the turnovers and miscues blew it. I think they're going to open it up against with Devontae Adams. You saw how a mediocre wide receiver core torched the Cardinals. I'm not saying Derek Carr is Patrick Mahomes by any stretch of the imagination, but he could throw the ball. He can get it to Darren Waller. Jacobs is going to get more yards on the ground because they're going to open it up. So I do like the Raiders to get the W. And as far as your points on the Cardinals, I think their coach is going to be on the hot seat because, again, last year they got off to a great start. Everyone said, "Oh, this is the Cardinal team. Watch out, Super Bowl 10-2." Look what happens. They make the wild card and get bumped right away. I've never had faith in Kyler Murray. And as far as his contract, that's why, bro, I've never sweated the Cardinals in the division. I don't care how good they are. I've never sweat them because they are what they are. That's that, and they'll never change until they get a mean old culture change. They're always going to be the Cardinals. So like, when Kyler Murray came out and bitched about his contract, it's like, bro, you signed the contract, which means you agreed to the terms. So you can't technically bitch about it because it leaked out that you have terrible studying skills. You agreed that you have terrible studying skills, and you signed the contract. So shut the hell up. And so I got the Raiders to probably put up a lot of points against the Cardinals. I don't know if it'll be a blowout, but they're going to put up a lot of points against them. So I got them getting their first win.
Another note, man. Another note. We haven't even mentioned Devontae Adams. I don't know if you just mentioned him or not, but Devontae Adams might go off. He might go off in this game. Devontae Adams. He had a really good game last week, but this one, dude, the way that Cardinals defense looked last week, this might be just terror. The Cardinals might want to call in sick on this one because Devontae those weapons that the Raiders and Hunter Renfro didn't even show up last week. So good luck to the Cardinals defense. But I also wanted to touch up a little bit more on Kyler Murray. Everything that you just said is true, dude. Like, and then before he got that contract, he was threatening to hold out, and he went to social media.
Mm-hmm.
He deleted all his posts, all his follow. He stopped following the Cardinals on all his platforms, social media platforms, and the media was getting behind him. So the Cardinals were like in the corner, and they had to pay him that money. And then when they were like, "Well, we got to make sure that you're heavily invested. We got to make sure like the money, like he's getting a lot of money." And when they said that he's got to study on the team, that was a big indicator that the Cardinals don't really believe in him. But they couldn't do anything about it because you know how the media is, and they don't give him a big deal. Just kind of like how the Ravens are getting treated right now. If you don't give Lamar a big deal, they're going to go PC and woke on you. And the Cardinals had no choice. They absolutely had no choice. But Kyler Murray is a big old baby. He's a big ass diva. I don't like Kyler Murray. Once he started going off on the media and all that, and showing how soft he was, that's when he lost my respect fully.
I agree. I totally agree. Well, moving on to the next game, it will be Sunday nighter. It will be the Bears taking on your favorite Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Will he be tweaking? Will he not be tweaking?
On this one, I'm gonna go with. Give me 1 second. On this one, I'm gonna go with. This is a divisional game. The Bears and the Packers. The Packers have absolutely owned the Chicago Bears. Like even Aaron Rodgers last year in that game, you've seen it just like everybody else. It was a gif. It was a meme. It was all over social media. Aaron Rodgers, after he scored the touchdown, he was talking crap to the fans. He says that he still owns them and all this and that. But That was with Devontae Adams, and that's when the offense was looking like a nuclear bomb that was going off every single week. Um, I'm gonna go with the Bears in this one. I'm gonna go with the Bears, even if it's in Green Bay. I'm going with the Bears. I think that dude, they don't have nothing. I mean, the running game. The only way I see Green Bay winning this one is if the running games, the AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones carry the load. But as far as like their wide receivers and tight ends, there's no respect there, and the Bears know it. The Bears always play the Packers tough. They play them tough, but like they'll play them tough for like a first half, and then Green Bay will just run away with it in the second half. But again, that's with Devontae Adams. That's when Aaron Rodgers can open up the field, the playbook, and all that. But how much can he open up the playbook when he's got Randall Cobb and Sammy Watkins as his go-to wide receivers? These guys, they're not starter material. They're like practice. They're not practice squad, but they're special teams players. That's what they are. They should be special teams players at this point in their career. Chicago, they're young. They need it. They're looking at it like if we take Green Bay to 0-2 and they go to 2-0, they've got a chance of winning the division. They'll catch momentum. And right now, Green Bay's trying to figure it out. There's a lot of pressure going on in Green Bay. But I'm going with Chicago only because Green Bay cannot open up the playbook because these receivers have not shown any like signs of life. And Aaron Rodgers, like, good luck. That offensive line, he's missing both of his offensive tackles and that left guard. Also got injured in the Vikings game, so he's got three backups and on his offensive line going against that Chicago front seven.
This is going to be an ugly, like 7-3 lead for the Bears at halftime, but I do got the Packers opening up in the second half. I'm going to go against what you said because I don't like Justin Fields. I've never liked an Ohio State quarterback. I've never liked a UCLA quarterback outside of Troy Aikman. So other than that, with that being said, I got the Bears to be doing stuff to have a freaking good time of possession, good defensive scheme against Rodgers. I'm not saying the Packers are going to light him up in the second half like you brought out like they usually do, but I think that with that crowd noise and everything, I think the Bears keep it close. They even are close in the third quarter, but I think at some point the Packers open up a 10-point lead or so, or at least a 2-score lead, 8 or 9, and that's it. I think the Packers win this game.
What right now at this point in their careers, don't not counting the past. Going forward for the next 3 years, what team would you rather have right now, the Bears or the Packers?
I think the Bears, because of the Packers, you don't know the direction. I'm not sold on Jordan, their quarterback. At least with the Bears, you always know they're going to have a good defense. It's whether you can fix the thing that's been a problem since Walter Payton's been gone. They've never had a consistent running back, just like the Lions. They've never had consistent receivers outside of Muhsin Muhammad when they had him for a few years. And they've never had a quarterback. If you can't solve the offense, it seems like the Bears have been this team where it's like, this is our identity. We're a defensive team no matter what. Until they change, they had that 1 year where they were able to do stuff and they got to the Super Bowl. But again, they got there on defense. You haven't looked at a team, and a Bears team, and been like, damn, they could score with anybody. That team more than anybody. It's always been defense, dude. And it's like at some point you got to realize 20, 30 years, you're not winning a Super Bowl on just defense. You need to invest in offense. You need to get some skilled players on offense. And they've never done it. So, again, I think this is another lost year for the Bears.
It's crazy to think that they really never had a bear. They never had a quarterback. Dude, think about this. Their best quarterback in franchise history, Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
And Jim McMahon, if you knew his career, bro, that was in the early 80s to late 80s.
I was born in 87, and I started watching football back in 2003. That's when I really started paying attention to it.
And it's funny, look, when the Bears won the Super Bowl, they had like one of the greatest defenses up until the Buccaneers defense. And Jim McMahon was a Trent Dilfer. He never wooed you, and you're never like, oh, man, that dude threw for like 300 yards. Like, literally, it was like hand off to Walter. You needed McMahon to make the only reason why McMahon was popular, because he wore those Terminator glasses, those cool glasses. Yeah. He just looked like a cool dude. He was in your face and stuff. But McMahon was not like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. If you look at the highlights versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl, McMahon was just handing the ball off to Refrigerator Perry, to Walter Payton. The defense was scoring. Even in the postseason that year, they shut out both teams in the divisional and the championship game. They weren't doing anything offense. And if you follow his career after that, the Bears got more mediocre as all those defensive players left and McMahon had to take over. I'm telling you, man, You're absolutely right. McMahon is the best quarterback in freaking Bears history. That's it. They've been the only thing that just has not changed. The NFL game has changed over the years, and they haven't changed with it.
Man, it just makes me wonder, like, how do you not put it all on the table when you know you have a Super Bowl caliber defense and you don't go after a quarterback? Like they should go after Jimmy Garoppolo. They should have been one of the first teams to
Yep.
line up for Jimmy Garoppolo or
Yep.
Russell Wilson. Like they should have went. They should even go after the backup quarterback from Baltimore, Tyler Huntley. But they're not. It's not clicking. I don't know what's going on with the Chicago Bears. They've never had a quarterback, and really Jim McMahon wasn't even all that good if it wasn't for sweetness and that defense. Jim McMahon would just be another Yahoo, you know.
And think about it. Had Seattle traded Russell Wilson not this offseason, but the prior one, the Bears were on his list of teams he wanted to go to. So,
And not only that, but remember, the Bears I think passed up on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes in that draft
yeah,
for what quarterback was it? Was it Turbiscuit?
I think it was Turbiscuit because
Oh,
they have passed on so many good quarterbacks, bro. I mean, they always go defense, and it just never works.
and
Never.
in the year that they draft a quarterback in like the top 5, top 10, they go with Justin Fields, baby, Ohio State's own.
Oh my gosh! And again, Ohio State quarterbacks haven't proved anything. Come on. All right, so enough about the Bears. Sorry if you're a Bears fan. This is the next one is a Monday night game. It is a Tennessee versus Buffalo. Tennessee shockingly loses at home. Now has to go on the road to a Super Bowl contender in the Buffalo Bills, who looked fantastic in the second half against the Rams. Who do you got and why in this one?
All right, with this one, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna try and give a little bit of insight on this one, but it's kind of hard too because I'm just mentally prepared for this one. It's easy to go with Buffalo. It's very easy to go with Buffalo because they've got the nice shiny toys on offense. Everybody's going off. They've got a nice defense. They've got it going on. They're just the Super Bowl favorites. But if you look at the last two times that the Tennessee Titans have played the Buffalo Bills, the Tennessee Titans have grinded the games out. They played ball control. They've got Derrick Henry. And as long as Derrick Henry stays healthy against the Buffalo Bills, I like Derrick Henry stiff arming another Buffalo Bills cornerback to the ground like he did to Josh Norman the last time that they met up. But the last 2 to 3 times the Tennessee Titans have met up with the Buffalo Bills when Josh Allen has gone off, Tennessee has owned them. So I'm gonna stick with obviously I'm gonna go with Tennessee on this one.
All right, so I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think Josh Allen takes him to 2-0. I think that was a stupid loss by Tennessee at home. I think Tennessee is going to start to see that at some point they're going to have to make a quarterback change, maybe give the rookie a chance a season too early because they drafted Williams or Malik to be the guy for the future. I didn't think they were going to take a shot with him this year, but I think Tennessee will play him tough. Henry will get some yards on that defense, but I think Buffalo's pass rush will get to him, cause turnovers. I like Buffalo. Let's move on to the second Monday night game because I forgot to say that was the first Monday night game. And Skull Zone said that game's an hour before this one, but this one is a really good one. It is going to be the Vikings and Skull Zone himself watching or going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Who you got, man? Take it away. This is your team.
Look, listen, I'm not going to disrespect the Tennessee fans and the Buffalo fans. And next week's show, I might not have them. I might not be able to cover, like, give you guys insights on that game because the game's going to be on at the same time, just about with the Vikings versus the Eagles. Because I'm going to be just solely focused on the Vikings, the Eagles, because I love the Vikings that much that everything else, like, that's the best. I got tunnel vision when the Vikings are on. I like Philadelphia. I like what they've got going on. But dude, when you give up like 100, how many yards did DeAndre Swift have on the ground and in the air against that Philadelphia defense? I'm gonna go with Minnesota because like Philadelphia's gonna try. They're gonna do everything they possibly can to try and stop Justin Jefferson. But we haven't even seen that whole entire playbook that the Minnesota Vikings got. And against Jalen Hurts, I'm getting Kyler Murray vibes with Jalen Hurts in this game. Last year when we went into Arizona, Daniil Hunter was owning that offensive line. We got pressure. We've got cornerbacks. We're starting to shape up to becoming a really good team. And I really, really like our chances, especially going into Philly. I think the narrative is going to be against the Vikings this week is that Kirk Cousins can't win the big games or win primetime games, but this is a different Vikings team. And like I said on previous shows, I get the greatest shoulder on turf, like Mark Bolger, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk vibes, Steven Jackson vibes. I'm getting that same type of vibes for this Minnesota Vikings team. When they open up that playbook and KJ Osborne and Thielen and Irv Smith, everybody else gets involved. Look how Minnesota's gonna. I would not be surprised if Minnesota routes Philadelphia in this one.
I'm going to go with your Vikings on this one again for the second week in a row. For the things you just said, I think their weapons are out there. It's, can Cousins make the play? Can he have a clean pocket? If he does, Eagles are in for a long day. Eagles have a nice young defense, but I think they're going to get exploited by your boys you just mentioned, Jefferson, Cook, Thielen. It's a strong team. The Vikings have put together a win now team. So, and the Eagles are not too shabby themselves, but I think they're a year or so behind the Vikings, and I think Hurts will keep the pressure on the Vikings defense. He'll extend some drives. They'll get some points, but in the end, like, I could see a blowout in this one too. I could see the Vikings being toe-to-toe, a track meet, high-scoring, good, fun Monday night game, and then the Eagles just running out of gas. So
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I just think the Vikings will run them out of the stadium.
The main reason I think it's going to be a rout is because we're going to take we're going to take Jalen Hurts out of his comfort zone. The RPO is not going to be there for him. They're doing everything that's another gimmick offense. We're going to take everything away from Jalen Hurts, and we're going to make him stay in the pocket and beat us from the pocket. He's not going to get away from the pressures. Zadarius Smith, Danielle Hunter. We also got backup defenders that can come in for Danielle Hunter. You're going to watch, if you watch that game, watch how they move Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter all throughout that whole entire front seven. They're going to have them on the floor playing every position. Defense, everything. Just watch how they use those two guys, and the pressure's going to be there all night for Jalen Hurts. Vikings are going to rout them.
All right. Well, let's finish this one off strong here. I'm gonna get to the who gives a fuck of the
Whoa. Hold on. We're not going to disrespect these two great franchises like that. Hold on.
What?
Just go ahead. It's disrespectful to these great franchises right here. Like, this is actually going to be a great game right here.
Okay, well, we'll rewind to Sunday morning. This is the last game. This is a featured game. So, again, if you have this on your schedule, please watch something else. It is the Indianapolis Colts coming in winless and undefeated against the WNBA's Jacksonville Aces and Trevor Lawrence at 0-1.
This one I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. I don't know. James Robinson. I think he's gonna keep Trevor Lawrence upright. And if they go away from James Robinson and keep going to that second year running back, I don't know what his name is. He's got a weird last name. I'm not gonna botch his name, but they're going to him. He's from Clemson, I want to say. They should stick with James Robinson. They do that, they're gonna be in good hands. They got wide receivers like Marvin Jones. They've got, I don't know their defense, but they've got a good okay team. They were right there with Washington, but the Commanders went commando on them, and that's why they lost. The Colts, I don't believe in Matt Ryan. I think that, and they tied with the Texans. Come on, bro. Come on. The Jaguars are gonna look back. They're gonna be like, man, we had Washington where we needed them. We could have won that game, but if it wasn't for that stupid interception that the WNBA threw, there were possibilities of them winning that game were endless right there. And James Robinson, I'm telling you, James Robinson is underappreciated even by his own franchise. Stick with James Robinson and good things will happen.
Okay, well, on this game, I'm going to pick Indy only because you picked Jacksonville. I'm probably going to kick myself in the butt because I don't believe in the quarterback for the Colts either. I think they're going to make some dumb moves, and Jacksonville usually plays a lot better at home, at least defensively. So I could see either way. This is a toss-up, but I'm taking the Colts just to mix things up.
You know what? I got a tie in this game. Hopefully it's a tie, so that way the Colts can go 0-2.
That's stupid. Let's do a quick recap on who we picked real quick because I got to bounce out of here right now.
All right, really quick. I'm gonna do this one as quick as I possibly can. We tied on the Chargers beating the Chiefs. We tied the Browns beating the Jets. I went with Washington. You went with Detroit. We both went with New Orleans, taking care of Tampa Bay. Carolina, that's where you picked Carolina. I picked New York. The battle of the handicap running backs right there.
Mm-hmm.
You went with we both went with the Patriots to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a bounce back game. We just covered the Colts and the Jaguars. I went with the Jaguars, and you went with the Colts. Miami versus Baltimore. We both went with Miami. Atlanta versus the LA Rams. We both went with the Rams. Seattle at San Francisco. We split. You went with your Seahawks, and I went with the 49ers. Cincinnati at Dallas. We both picked Cincinnati. Houston at Denver. We both picked Denver as a bounce back game. Arizona at LA or Las Vegas. We both went with the Raiders. Chicago at Green Bay. We split. I went with Chicago. You went with Green Bay. Tennessee at Buffalo for the first Monday night game. I went with Tennessee, and you went with Buffalo. And for the second Monday night game, the last game of the week 2, we both went with Minnesota over Philadelphia.
Sounds good. So those are our picks. Let's see if what you get. Hit us up on social media. And this has been Out of Bounds. Check us out for the recap show on Tuesday. Any final thoughts, Skull Zone?
Yeah. Going into this into the week 2, let me just give the records. You got a 9-6-1 record, and I've got a 7-8-1 record. So we'll see how we do this upcoming week.
We got to get double digits, that's for sure.
All right, tell a friend, and we'll see you guys later.
Later.